Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see these names popping up on the screen. Some of you I haven't seen for a while. Welcome, welcome to our Fun Cook Taste the Trend with our special emphasis on the base and bloom, which is taking a base and then making it bloom into all kinds of things. Isn't this perfect for the spring and early summer with all the flowers? Making things bloom and making this makes life easy, but if you get the right base, you can just do so many things. So tonight we're starting off with roast chicken, and that might sound maybe you've made a lot, but I'll tell you, when you have that wonderful recipe for just tender, juicy, moist chicken that's just so easy to do at home, it's fabulous. And then we're going to show chicken stock that just can make the difference in so many recipes. And then chicken tortellini soup and chicken salad. And it's one of my favorites. It's actually just loaded with flavors and textures and everything wonderful you could love. And so we're really excited that you're on tonight, and we hope you enjoyed immensely. Eric is going to be presenting. He's taped these recipes and gone through each one to show you every part of it. If you have questions, go ahead and make sure to go ahead and note in the chat, and then Eric will be answering those questions for you. And if you have any comments or whatever you want to say, then please feel free to do that. We want to have fun together and enjoy this time. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Eric.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another Taste the Trend Tuesday. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a roast chicken, but that's going to be the base of several other recipes we're going to do. So first, we're going to start with the roast chicken. We're going to have that for dinner. Then we're going to have make soup base, a soup, and a chicken salad with it all. But we're going to go in stages, and since this is our base, we're going to start with the chicken. So the first thing we need to do is, I'm going to put on some gloves because I don't feel like touching it. But this is about a 6-pound roast chicken, or a 6-pound chicken. Got it at Costco. They seem to have the biggest ones, and when I'm going to roast a chicken, I want the biggest one I can get. So from here, we want to make sure it's dry, because that's how you're going to get better skin texture when it's cooked. And then what I've got is about 3 tablespoons of butter that I melted in the microwave. We're going to throw that in to the inside cavity. And then we're just going to kind of let it roll around inside. And then to this, we're going to fill this cavity with vegetables. And what they're going to do is they're going to provide additional moisture, because as they cook, the steam is going to come up and get into the meat. And they're going to also add flavor. So I usually do an onion, carrot or two, some celery. Sometimes I do garlic. I don't think I'll do that today. And this is all rough cut things. You don't need to be particular about any of it. Just chop it up. Now I've got some carrots. I peeled the carrots, but you don't even have to do that if you don't want to, as long as they're clean, because you're not going to eat any of this. This is just for flavor and cooking. When we're done, this is going to be discarded. And then a couple celeries. And then what I do is just jam it all in here, kind of alternating so you get some of everything everywhere. That's about it. So then from here, and again, I don't always do this, but if you want it extra juicy, kind of separate the skin from the breast. It's pretty easy to do. And then what that gives you is like 2 pockets. And what we're going to do is I had a half a stick of butter, 3 tablespoons of it went inside, we're going to take this, divide it in half, and just tuck it in under here. Okay. Then I'll put some olive oil on the skin. And again, the skin was dried first. And it's, you know, a tablespoon or two. Just, you don't need to measure it. You just need to drizzle it on and smear it around. And then from there, we can put on our chicken spice. And again, it's 2 tablespoons of this is what I'm using, and it is our French Pantry chicken blend, which is awesome. And the oil I'm using is the extra virgin olive oil from France. And then right now, in case you want to know, there is a special going on. If you spend $125, you're going to get 2 gift packs. One is the dinner time set that's got everything I'm using here right now. Olive oil, the chicken seasoning, but you also have the meat seasoning and slow gray salt. And then we also have the wine and dine set that's going to have salt, the slow gray salt, a pepper, and 2 peppers, and 2 salts of wine salt and a slow gray, and then the pepper. So that's everything you need to make what I just did right here. So then we're going to put some salt on, because there is no salt in the spice blend. Here. Okay. This is going to go into my oven that has been preheated to 425. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick it in there and leave it for between 10 and 20 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. And then we're going to turn the temperature down to 375 and let it continue cooking for probably 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. Depends on the size of the chicken. And we're going to test that using a meat thermometer, which works really well. We want to make sure that we test it at 165 when we're ready, when we're done. So for now, I'm going to put this in the oven. And then Alexa, set timer for 10 minutes.
10-minute timer started.
And then we'll be back when this is ready. All right, we're back now. Our chicken has been in the oven for an hour and 40 minutes. What we did was first put it in at 425 for 15 to 20 minutes, then reduce the temperature in the oven to 350 and let it continue cooking. It needs to reach an internal temperature of about 155 to 160, and then it needs to rest for about 30 minutes, which will bring the internal temperature up about 165, which is what you want to make sure no one's going to get any illness from it. So I'm going to test it right now using our very accurate kitchen thermometer. We are at 161 right now. So we're going to let this rest for about 30 minutes. And then to recap what we did, we purchased the largest chicken we could find at Costco, which is about 6 pounds. And then what we did is remove it from the package, patted it dry. We put about 3 tablespoons of melted butter on the inside cavity. That's optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Then we filled the cavity with chopped, roughly cut vegetables, carrots, onions, and celery. You can alternate what you put in. Some people like fennel. You could do lemon, whatever you want to do. And then what we did is patted it dry because that helps the skin crispy if you want to eat the skin. And then we rubbed it with a little bit of olive oil, our French Pantry extra virgin olive oil. And then we sprinkled about 2 tablespoons, this is not science, it's art, so as much as you want, of the French Pantry chicken seasoning. And then, I don't always do this, but we did put about 4 tablespoons of butter underneath the breast skin just to help keep the meat moist. So what we're going to do with this is serve this for dinner tonight, along with some mashed potatoes and some gravy I'm going to make with the drippings here, and some sauteed broccolini. Then when we come back, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with all the leftovers, because we're going to make some broth, we're going to make chicken salad, and we're going to make a really good soup. And all of this stuff is very, very fast. So this is all great weeknight stuff, and it's all built off the one base of the roasted chicken, so we're going to use up the whole chicken. So we'll be back soon. Thanks. Hi everyone, and welcome back. We finished dinner, and we've had 6 people. And as you can see, this is what is left over. So what we're going to do now is go on to our next step here. We're going to strip all the meat off the chicken and set it aside so that we can make our chicken salad. But then what's left, we're going to make our chicken stock so that we can then make our tortellini soup later. So for now, we're just going to pull out all the meat that we can find on this bird and just put. And then, once we get it all out, we're going to put this into, I'm going to use an Instant Pot to make the broth, but you can do this just as well in a stock pot. It just takes a little longer. Instant Pot is going to take about 40 minutes cooking time, and then about 20 minutes to heat up and 10 minutes to cool down on the end. So it takes about an hour, hour and a half. And then you need about 2.5 hours to do it in the pot. And the results are basically the same. So whichever way you want to do it, or whichever kitchen appliance you have. Now this is, the meat's cold here. If it were warmer, it would peel off easier. What we want to do is just get as much meat off this as possible, but you're not going to get it all off, and that's okay, because it's going to help make the broth. So I have got most of the chicken off, the meat off of this. What we want to do is keep the skin, keep the bones. The wings are here. As I told you before, the vegetables that are that we used, they're going to get thrown out, but we're actually going to just use them in the stock. So right now, I'm going to put this out. And we're just going to take our stock pot and throw this in. I have the rack inside of it. It makes it easier to just pull that garbage out at the end, because everything in there is going to get thrown out except for the liquid. And take a look at this. This was the roasting pan. It's not been washed. All I did was dump the drippings out of it to make the gravy. And this is just going to be washed with water. There's no scrubbing, nothing. It's going to come perfectly clean. And then this here, this is just some of the leftover vegetables that I had when we did the chicken that I didn't use. So I'm just going to throw them all in there, along with a couple bay leaves. So I've got onions, carrots, celery. Everything can be rough and rustic. It does not matter there. And then we're going to put about 8 cups of water into here. Whoops. You basically want the chicken mostly covered, which it is. There's only about 1/4 inch of it. I wish I could show this to you better, but I don't think I can. And then we're going to put in a little bit of the chicken seasoning that I left over here. Sorry about that. It's about a tablespoon of that we're throwing in there. And then we're going to put the lid on. And we're going to set it to the soup broth setting, or just pressure cook. 40 minutes is what I'm doing. So this is all good. We're going to let that go. And then we can start getting ready for our chicken salad. Okay, well, our chicken salad is still cooling. It's about ready. The stock finished. I've cooled it, and what I've done is I've just strained it. I didn't strain it through cheesecloth. A lot of people do that. I like it to be a little rougher, so I just use colander. And like I said, everything gets thrown away. You're just keeping the liquid. So the liquid should be seasoned with salt and pepper. You may want to put some more broth in or seasoning into it, like better than bouillon or sauce, which we will use. But I'm not going to do that right now because we're going to use this to make soup right away. So I'd rather season the soup when it's all put together. So while to get that going, I want to chop up our vegetables. So we're going with some carrots. That says the recipe is 2 to 3 stalks or 1 to 2 stalks of medium carrots. I don't know what a medium carrot is. These look kind of skinny to me. So I'm doing 3. And then we're going to do the same thing with celery. And what we're going to do is we're going to saute these in the stock pot with some butter, like a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of the French Pantry olive oil. And we're going to throw all this in, and we're going to saute it till the onions that we're going to put in there are kind of translucent. It just gives a little deeper flavor and only takes a few extra minutes. And while these are sauteing, we will put together the chicken salad. So, let's see. And when you're slicing the vegetables, you're going to want to keep them all, like all the carrots, similar sizes, and all the celery, similar sizes, because that way it'll cook more evenly. We're going to throw the carrots and the onions in right away to saute, and then we'll throw the celery in just a minute or 2 later. Alright, and then our onion. I probably should just throw this in the Eco Chop, which would make more sense, wouldn't it? It'll save me a bunch of time. This thing is just unbelievably easy to use, and it saves me so much time. And that looks pretty good. See, I chopped them all up real quick. Oh, and our butter and oil's already in here. It's sizzling. Put these in. Okay, while that's going on, I did realize one thing. I'm going to get the chicken salad out. Notice I'm using my octagonal Bonmat as a lid. I forgot to put the celery in, but it won't make much difference, so I'm going to put in a piece of celery right now. This a couple stirs. So for the chicken salad, we want the celery in like little teeny pieces. So I'm just going to kind of slice it up into long sticks, and then we'll cut it crosswise so we just get little chunks. It'll add a little bit of crunch, but too much celery in one bite's not great. Okay. And it's done. All right. Get a knife. Stir that up. And then, you can put this in a salad if you want, which is what we're going to do today. You could also make a sandwich out of it, or, put it on an English muffin. So what I've got is just some romaine lettuce that we chopped up. And we're going to use just a scoop to get that kind of look to it. And then we're going to put some tomato slices in. And then we've got some cucumber. Now I peeled this entire cucumber because I thought the skin was too thick. But normally you want to leave some skin on because it looks nice and it also has a lot of vitamins in it. Just a few slices of that. And then drizzle a little bit of extra dressing on top. And there's your chicken salad. So now I want to go back to where we're at with the soup. And, well, these are right where they need to be. So now the celery's in. Let that saute for just a few minutes. Now we're going to pour in our chicken stock. And we want this to come up to a boil because we want the carrots to cook long enough that they can be pierced by a fork. And that, because the carrots here are real small, maybe 5 minutes boiling, 10 minutes boiling. So we'll let that go. And we'll put in some seasoning while this is going on. So I like to put in some parsley, and I don't measure it. That's about a tablespoon. We're going to put in some of the French Pantry. So a tablespoon we're going to do here. And then I like to put in some tarragon. Tarragon kind of gives it a little bit of the sweeter flavor. So test it, smell it, see if you like it, then decide whether you want to put it in and then adjust the amount. Now I know this is going to need some of the bouillon seasoning, and this is like, I'm probably going to do a tablespoon of this and then we'll test it. The way it works is if you're starting from straight water, you're supposed to put in a teaspoon for each 8 ounces. And we're going to stir that up and get the heat up to high. We'll wait for that to boil. Okay, it looks like these may be ready now. Let's see. Yep, we are good. So what I'm going to do now is I had to reserve some chicken from our chicken salad recipe. So I have about a cup of chicken I'm going to throw in there. Chicken's already cooked. Now these are pre-made tortellinis that you can find at most grocery stores. You can also find them at, they make a good one at Costco sells them. And we're going to want to do it up to you how much you want to put in here. If you do the whole bag, if you like more broth than noodles, then you probably don't want to do the whole bag. I'm probably going to do like 2/3 of them. And you don't really want to boil these. You want to just kind of simmer them. So turn the heat down, and basically you're waiting. They're frozen, but sometimes you buy them fresh. They just need to be heated through, and they're done basically when they float to the top. So we're going to give them a few minutes to do that, and then we will plate them up. Okay, we have been on a brief break of about 5 minutes actually. We had brought that up to a boil, checked the carrots, then put in tortellini. It took them 4 minutes to rise to the top, so they were done. So they are completely done now. So what we need to do is just plate these up, and then we're going to, for this particularly, I love to put Parmesan cheese on them. Oops. What a mess. And then we want to finish off with a little bit of pepper on both of these. This one probably needs a little bit of salt. But look, we got 3 meals out of 1 chicken. And the soup, I love this recipe because when I make a roast chicken, I always make the stock out of it and I put it in Ziploc bags and freeze it. But even if you don't, you can use chicken bouillon to make the broth. And then this soup comes together in like 15 minutes. So if you're in a hurry, you need something to eat, this is easy. So I thank you for joining us here, and I'm going to turn this back over to Rhonda, and you guys all have a great night.
Thank you so much, Eric. That was like a ton of just creativity. And I'm hoping everybody's already started or will plan on opening up these recipes online after we get off our call today, because these are just, I think the reason why I like them so much is because they are not like the roast chicken. It's not flavored so strongly that it doesn't open up so many possibilities. Now he was showing the stock and the chicken salad and that, but if he had put all kinds of, like a really strong mix in there, then you're just stuck on just one train, right? And you're not able to have that freedom to do more. And I just think that's really important when you're thinking about how you're doing things with your seasonings, because if you want to have the base and then the bloom, you can't overdo your base. You have to make it like Eric was saying. You have to make it so that you can use it for different things, and then you can load up in particular. Like let's say you wanted to make tacos with some of the chicken instead. So then you have all that wonderful freedom to have your seasoning with your chicken and the sauce that you would serve with it and everything else. And so I love that. I love having the freedom to create. I think this is so much better to me than freezing a 9 by 13 lasagna. And then you just eat and eat and eat lasagna. This way, you have that chicken or whatever you're making, and then you can just have it keep growing. I wanted to say too with the chicken stock, which I think we all know if you have canned or bottled stock, or you use the base, the pastes. I mean, it obviously works because you have the whole entire recipe that you can kind of make up that difference if you want to. I see a note here. We have great chicken tostada recipe. Yes, Eric is showing that. Look that up, you guys. These are fun, and it's so nice not to have the same old recipes and think out of the box. I was going to say, he was talking about like you could freeze your stock. I love doing that. Um, if I just am not feeling that good or blah blah blah, I love taking stock out of the freezer and just having something really healthy and warm and yummy. I know maybe not so much in the summertime, but one thing that I learned a trick for, which I really like, is if I did have my chicken while we were eating dinner, it would cool. But after I took the chicken off the bone, if I just didn't have time to make stock or whatever was happening, then I would put the bones back in with new veggies back into the oven and let them get all browned and toasted up while I did the dishes or whatever else I was doing. And then take it out. And just like Eric showed us, I mean, nothing sticks to the pan. So it's just like, but anyway, let that cool off. And then I put that in a freezer bag and smash it all together tight, real tight. So it doesn't take up a lot of room. And when I usually add some celery, extra celery, onion, carrot, whatever I want, garlic. And then that is in there to take out in that bag and just pop into my pot or whatever, however else I'm doing it. Sometimes I use the pressure cooker, but you've got your stock pot, all those different things. But what it is, I think, is it gives you license to think out of the box so you can do things that are going to work for you. And so having this wonderful stock, this recipe that he gave us, I really hope you'll try it because there's so many, as you can see, like bay leaves, they just add this underlying richness to the stock. And the mirepoix, right? Carrots, onion, celery, that's the magic of the French, right? For almost everything they want. So just I hope you'll enjoy. And here I know I'm going on and on, but does everybody love a good chicken salad, right? And to have the crunch, to have all the textures and all the flavors. And I was thinking, I don't know where I actually put a note on here because I wanted to remember to tell you um, that just the balance between sweet and salty and sour and tangy. And then you have just that little tiny, tiny bit of heat just to give it a goodness to balance everything out. I just think that's fabulous. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. I'm going to, actually, does anybody have any questions about the recipes that you did not put in chats that Eric can answer for you? I want to make sure to get everybody's questions answered. So just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask. Or say hi. Okay, well, okay, he did a great job, and the recipes are very clear. And I hope everybody is aware that we do now go live on Facebook, on our Facebook for these classes. So if you miss one, go back and look. Just look those up. And I think there's a special for the recording. You do. Let's see. Search for live cooking demo. Okay, and you will see it there. So that's good. And then I wanted to tell you, you saw all of these different products. I don't want to go into a lot about that, but some of these, either you've had them and you're loving them, or maybe you don't know. So the neat thing about the sale that they have right now is that they're offering three of our special gift sets for free. If you order anything, spend over $125. And I'm just going to quickly go through that real fast for you. But the important part for me, I think, as a cook, because I love these products, is to let you know, like this chicken. So This is that looks backwards because I don't have a reverse screen right now, but that did say chicken. But it has just wonderful ingredients. I don't know if you guys have ever read the back of your jar, but it has sesame seed, thyme, and sumac. Sumac is a wonderful, wonderful, yummy flavor. Onions, parsley, oregano, black peppercorn, a little tiny test of sugar because that balances out, and then margarine. Anyway, this is good on so many different things. I mean, well, anyway, I don't want to keep going, but you just have to try it. Think out of the box. Remember that. That's the trick to a lot of stuff. And then the meat. Okay, so that one is garlic, onion, red paprika, parsley, chive, chili pepper, black peppercorn, and paprika. And what I'm finding with my cooking is, I used to always be afraid of anything spicy. I didn't want anything spicy at all. Um, these aren't spicy, but what they do is they add that little extra little bit of heat. And that's one of the things that balances out everything. Um, so it's just kind of nice. And then if you have our olive oil, now these are all in the gift sets. So you have to look at that. But the extra. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. The olive oil is just like a treat. So just just enjoy it and just drizzle that on top. You can put that a little drizzle across your soup, across your pizza, across your salads, everything, like a finishing. It's just so delicious. I mean, my olive oil is good. I love cooking with it from my regular olive oil, but this is delicious. And that's just kind of in a whole different category, I guess you would say. And then in that kit is our sal gris, which is just our regular sea salt. This is unflavored, but it's just so good. And and then here, oh, look at this red wine sea salt. So that's just a whole different. If you haven't tried all those, they all have fun. And then here's our pepper, and I think this one was our Madagascar. I can't read it. Can you believe that? My eyes are getting Vietnam. Oh, Vietnam. Okay, very good. Vietnam is pretty much like the standard. It's very, very popular. But if you've tried our peppers, every single one of them, they all say their own name and they make food taste great. So, okay, so that's it. And then here, we had what we called a weekday special. So it has the medium perforated baking sheet you see under there, and then the Bonmat, lovely Bonmat. And then look at this. So that's the rectangular and then the square. I mean, this is huge. It basically takes care of all your cooking during the week. So that's kind of fun. And then we had, so this is, and I didn't tell you the price for this. So that was, instead of, what in the world was it? Okay, so all of these are like 150, 350, but they're only 99. Okay, so you're almost to your 125. Yay. And then we have the Eco Chop is $40 instead of 49. And if you don't already have one or want another one or have, I was thinking going to barbecues in the summer, sometimes people put on family gatherings or big barbecues. These are nice gift sets that you can give to the host, or like take one of these. They'll be loving you for it. And then here is the 9 or 6 loaf. And it is, I wanted to show you because people don't realize how big this is. I mean, these are gorgeous meatloafs or freezing stock, anything like that. And do you see how the shape makes them so easy to stack in the freezer? You can't. Some people don't have a ton of freezer space, so it's nice to have things all concise, all that. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I should tell you. Oh, if you've not already taken advantage, we have been having a special called Bloom 25. It's a special 25% off your entire order And that even includes sale prices. Okay. But you can only do that once since it started through the end of June. Okay. So just be careful about that. It's a one-time thing, but that's on top of the sales if you have that available. And then if you are also online here and you have your person that invited you, your sales rep, whatever you want to call them, I call them friends, but anyway, um, if they have a class open, they can get you maybe something else. Like if they have 20% off if you go over 100. So that's something to do. And so just check with the person that that invited you to see, make sure, we always want to try to give you guys the very best discounts. We love you and we want you to enjoy using our products. And then the other one last thing is that the Eco Chops is only good through Thursday, but everything else is good through the end of the month. And we just hope you're going to have a wonderful summer and get started going right away. Does anybody else have any questions or anything to say?
I think we're good, Rhonda, and thank you so much for emceeing this whole evening. We really appreciate you joining us tonight, as well as everyone else. And everyone have a great night.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Loved that you were on. That's so nice. Happy summer.